Hi. Now we're going to dive into using the account and some of the features of Bank Kiddo once you've got everything set up. So we have our three child accounts. Cindy's got a single account, Johnny's got an investment account, and a savings account. So let's go and give each of these kids accounts an initial balance. So when you click on an account, you can see that it gives you a transaction list. There's no transactions here for Cindy since the last statement, since we just created her account. You add a transaction, and in her piggy bank, she's got $100 initial deposit. And we'll add that. And you can see now there's this little initial deposit added for Cindy's account. I can just clear this little notification. And so you keep seeing you'd see the transactions going down here. So let's say I now went and bought Cindy a toy. So negative, she spent, which is a negative amount, $10 on a jump rope. And I like to give these descriptive, transaction names just because this way when the child looks at it in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, they'll start saying, oh, I spent that money. That maybe wasn't the best idea. Or I made that money. That's great. And so you can see I've just added the other transaction. And, Cindy's balance has gone down $10 because she spent $10. You notice in these transactions here, there's a little trash icon. So if you make a mistake, you can kind of delete a transaction. Those are only available in the first day, within the first day after you've created the transaction. The reason why is that if you start allowing things to get deleted in the later than that, interest becomes weird to calculate. So, and it just gets confusing for everyone. So if you ever make a mistake and you can't delete it anymore, it's been too long, just add an adjustment transaction. So we say, okay, the jump rope was actually $7. So adjustment for overcharge on jump rope. And that's kind of how a real bank does it too. They kind of just add adjustments. They don't seem to go back and edit history. And so you can see now, it's netted out to only $7. So you can kind of do that. As far as this little drop down here, this gives you the statement. So a statement gets created every month. And so you only see the transactions since the last statement, which is the start of the month. This is very similar to how banks do it. But later on, when Cindy gets a few months in, she'll have a bunch of months here she can click on and dive into those. The next thing to look at is goals. So goals, there's no goals for Cindy right now, but goals are a great way for you or Cindy to start setting targets for things that Cindy's trying to achieve with her bank balance for whatever reason. So you can say, I'm going to add a goal. So I'm just going to go back so you can see that. You can click on add a goal. And let's say Cindy's interested in a camera. So she's going to get a camera for $150. And she's going to say, new camera. And you click add. And so now there's this little goal here that's been added. And you can kind of track what happens with that goal. So when it's achieved, you'll suddenly see this data appear. The system will keep track of Cindy's bank balance. And when she hits that goal, she'll actually get an email. And so will you as a parent saying, hey, Cindy's hit this goal. That's great. And then you can do whatever you need from that. You can also edit this goal if later on it changes and the price, let's say, goes to $170. You can certainly do that, or you can delete it by just hitting the delete button. But we're going to save that at $170. And that's that. And you can go back to Cindy's account by clicking here. And that's goals. Finally, there's charts. The charts aren't going to look overly interesting for Cindy right now, but you can see it gives you the last 90 days on a daily basis of what's been going on with Cindy's account. And so that's her, start off initial balance. As she gets more days behind her, you'll see this go up and down. And so that's kind of interesting for kids to visually see what's happening with their account. When she has a lot of months of data, you can click on this little monthly thing at the top and you'll see it on a monthly basis. And you'll see it go up and down. You can kind of mouse over and see what the balance was. But again, we just created this account. There's not a whole lot interesting here to see. Finally, it's useful to talk a little bit in this case about permissions. So there are certain things parents can do and certain things kids can do. Parents can edit the account. And that takes you over to this screen here, which we've seen before in the previous videos. Parents can add transactions. Both those functions kids cannot do, or children can't do. Goals and charts, kids have access to those. So just so you kind of understand, parents have to manage these accounts whenever transactions happen. You don't want kids doing it because they may enter in account transactions that aren't really real. But that's really it about permissions there. And that's accounts in general.